Hey everyone, it's Maribel Blue with a new Pathetically Unfiltered. If you are new here, welcome to this channel. If you are new here, welcome to this channel. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification so that you will get notified when I upload a new video. And if you are not new, welcome back. Thank you everyone who continues to support this channel. I appreciate you oh so much. I really, really do. So thank you. Let's talk about Michael Cohen. Apparently, that video that I did with Midas Touch versus Michael Cohen, the rage bait, that really ruffled a lot of feathers, especially Renee's feathers. This some random commenter who just couldn't grasp the idea that Midas Touch could have taken information from my Epstein video and then acted like they discovered the information on their own. Like, why would they do that? I mean, like, why? Because everybody at Midas Touch is so perfect. They don't want to talk about certain topics. I mean, let's talk about what happened with Jessica Denson and why she started her own channel. She has it on her live feed video. If you look at her live feed, she explains it all. So let's stop acting like Midas Touch is oh so perfect. But neither is Michael Cohen. Now, Michael Cohen does this video called The Truth is Finally Here. I'm not going to play the video from the beginning. I'm actually going to go to the 5-minute mark of the video because I guess apparently people were accusing him of knowing what was going on with the whole Epstein file, and he's not taking accountability for his actions if he covered anything up for Trump. He went on this whole rant about what apology means and what it means in the Torah, and it's not theatrical. I'm not going to play all that. I will link it down below in the description so that you can look at that beginning yourself. I want to play the part where he talks about how he has been attacked, and then we're going to get into other stuff with regards to what he was sharing in this part of the video.
Because for the past month, I have been attacked mercilessly, viciously, relentlessly by people I once believed were friends, by individuals who claimed wrongfully that I threatened and ended a case known as Katie Johnson versus Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. A case involving allegations so vile, so sickening, rape of a 13-year-old girl, that words almost fail. Now, let me state this clearly again for the record and for history. I had no knowledge of any Katie Johnson case. I did not work on it, ever. What I did recall, what I did state truthfully, was a different matter, a later case that was titled Jane Doe versus Trump, with similar allegations, which I remembered literally being resolved within days after information was provided to opposing counsel that established that no such individual existed. That case, too, was withdrawn by counsel. And then when constantly asked by people I trusted about this Jane Doe case, I answered honestly. I said the same thing every single time, that no such person existed, that the case was withdrawn. I had absolutely no involvement with any Katie Johnson matter or any Jane Doe matter that followed. And that answer is when the claws came out. You see, one by one they turned, circling like a bunch of hyenas sensing blood, not interested in the truth, only in the kill. And yes, they wounded me. They tried to destroy me. They even went so far, imagine this, they went so far as to try to lure subscribers away from my work, offering to my subscribers a 20% discount to their own platform as a reward for abandoning me. This is not disagreement. This is predation. And then on Saturday, this past Saturday, literally 3 days ago, after weeks and weeks of lies, insinuations, and cruelty, Hashem Hashem delivered to me something extraordinary, not speculation, not hearsay, not a trust me, a direct response from the actual attorney who represented both Katie Johnson and Jane Doe. Not some random commentator, not a social media personality, her counsel. And his words were unambiguous. Here's what he said, and I quote, "You are conflating two entirely different Jane Doe cases." And he further said, and I quote, "I never dealt with an attorney named Michael Cohen." And there it was, the truth, plain, undeniable. And 48 hours later, not a single apology, no phone calls, no messages, no acknowledgement of error. What I did receive instead were two hollow responses. An invitation by one to join a Substack live as if nothing had happened, and a casual, and I quote, "Thanks for this, my friend," as I sent them my Substack post of Sunday. That's not teshuva, which means accountability, because it is not accountability. It is avoidance dressed up as pretend civility. My friends, I want to be clear and why I'm doing this. The damage is already done. Our community has been fractured. My 6-year business relationship with Meidas Touch network destroyed. A mob emboldened, hurling racial epithets on me, wishing death upon me and my family. Gaslighting at its most grotesque.
So I want to say this. So I want to go back to the video, the part of the video where he talks about a case involving allegations so vile, so sickening of, the R word of a 13-year-old, that words almost fail me. And I just want to be clear. This is not me defending Michael Cohen. Just think of it as a situation of anyone, of any attorney. Michael Cohen seems to be the type of person who has some sort of ethics, if you will, when it comes to situations like this. Maybe not ethics anywhere else, but ethics when it comes to children and knowing that. I believe, again, this is my own personal opinion. I believe that if Michael Cohen knew of something that was going on, this probably would have unfolded differently. It probably would have come out sooner, because I don't believe that his conscience, he would allow himself to withhold that type of information and not say anything. Again, somebody could see it differently. This is the way I'm looking at it. He has that type of ethics when it comes to children. I'm not saying that he doesn't have ethics anywhere else, because he paid off Stormy Daniels, but Stormy Daniels is a grown ass woman. You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about children who don't have a choice in these matters of how they may have been held captive to do things with grown men that a child should not be doing. It's just fucking disgusting. I can't say that enough. But going back to this video and what he's talking about, the bottom line is the part where he goes, "One by one they turned, circling like hyenas, sensing blood, not interested in the truth, only in the kill. They wounded me, they tried to destroy me. They went even as far as to lure subscribers away from my work, offering 20% discount to their own platform as a result of abandoning me." This doesn't surprise me at all because of the experience that I had, because of what happened with Jessica Denson. And if you don't believe me, I'll play the video for you right now.
Court has shredded our Constitution, and Jack Smith will cave audit of the election results. And then the one about Jack Smith said, the Supreme Court has shredded our Constitution, and Jack Smith will cave in to the tyrant in advance. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read the tiny text on my screen, and I have to bring it up somewhere else so I can. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Okay, so again, the one about Jack Smith said, the Supreme Court has shredded our Constitution, and Jack Smith will cave to the tyrant in advance over a DOJ policy, complete and utter abandon of the people, justice, and the rule of law. So those two tweets. By the way, I've since interviewed Professor Lawrence Tribe, who said that what Jack Smith is doing, if he is in fact doing this with wrapping up these investigations in advance, is, quote, abdication of the worst kind. So happy to be in good company there. But apparently these tweets prompted a phone call from Ben at Meidas Touch, and he did not want these narratives on the network and was going to take my show down that Friday. And there was no way I was going to let that happen. There was no way I was going to abandon the audience, the wonderful audience who has been so supportive to me, and I know was counting on hearing from me after the election. There was no way I was going to abandon them on that Friday. And so I had a conversation with Ben. I will be honest, I told him what he needed to hear to make sure that my show did not come down. And I did speak about my concerns. Some of my concerns were mitigated from some of the data that I was seeing then. And to be honest, I feel like I've seen more data since then that makes those concerns more alive than they even were then. But I walked a line. And I did my show again the following Friday, and I continued to walk a line. And I can't do that. I can't do that. It's not right for me to be one person to you on Meidas Touch and be another person in real life or on my own YouTube channel or anything else. And as I said in the open to this, I think this is one of the most vital stories that is being shadowed by the media, and it is complete media malpractice. And I know if you're coming here from Meidas Touch, you know that Meidas Touch tells you that they are combating the mainstream media, telling the truth. Truth is golden. And I just feel like this is a vital, vital story in pursuit of truth that requires absolute fearlessness, and may be the most vital story of the next who knows how many years, that it may come up in years from now when it is way too late to reverse the damage that is done, that something was afoul. And we may have resources just to do our due diligence. And people are afraid to have that conversation for fear of being labeled conspiracy theorists, fear of being compared to Donald Trump in 2020, which we are nothing like.
So when I saw this, it made me look at Meidas Touch in a different way. I knew they were entertaining in the sense that everything that was going on during the campaign, they would make fun of Trump. They would talk about all of these different debacles that was going on during the campaign trail. They talked about Kamala Harris and how good she was doing. But I think what happened in that moment is their subscribers, including myself, we all got stuck in a bubble. And we weren't looking outside of what was really happening, how ruthless these MAGA trolls are. And I'm not talking about just, your regular random MAGA in the street. I'm talking about people on the inside, people like Peter Thiel, people like JD Vance, who was running as vice president, now vice president. You think about all of these people, everything from a year ago that she recorded this, or more than a year now that she recorded this, that Jessica Denson had put this together, until now. Jessica Denson was not wrong. And I literally, after that whole thing with my video and uncovering Jean-Luc Brunel and realizing, hey, you know what? Like, this was Epstein's friend. And if you look at the emails, there's somebody who put these emails together called jmail.world. I'll put that link down below in the description. If you look at the friendship that he had with Jean-Luc Brunel, everything that I shared in that video was pretty much on point. This was his friend. This was his confidant. They were working together in some kind of way to lure girls to becoming models, and who knows what they were doing to them. And Jean-Luc Brunel met the same fate as Jeffrey Epstein 2 years later. So let's not get this twisted. Let's not live in a bubble. I'm not saying that Michael Cohen is a victim here, none whatsoever. Michael Cohen, he has his own path to walk on, and people are going to support him regardless. And that's all well and good, because I'm not here to tell you don't support Michael Cohen or don't support Jessica Denson. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying support the people who you feel comfortable with. I think that is important. For me, I cannot be a supporter of the TMZ version of Meidas Touch because that for me was living in a bubble. See, I like people who are going to give it raw and uncut. You have Kyle Kalansky from Secular Talk. You have Keith Edwards, Dave Packman, who else? I've Had It podcast. These are people I am more apt to watch. Brian Tyler Cohen, who has Mark Elias on, Greg Kirshner, who are attorneys who are going to explain things that we all need to understand. Midas Touch is not going to do that. They only care about how many subscribers they can get. You know how Ben Meisel is always in, let's get to 5 million, let's get to 6 million. That was the goal. And in this day and age, and what is happening now, we have to stay informed. I cannot say that enough. Support other channels. Get your information from other people who are going to give it to you raw and uncut. I cannot say that enough. I'm not saying that I'm not a person who's not going to give it to you raw and uncut, because I will too. And I share these channels as a ways to get other people to see what you may not be seeing at this moment. I have nothing further with what's going on with Michael Cohen. I wish him luck with his channel, and I hope that people can step aside and say, you know what, I'm going to support him regardless. Maybe he has information that I don't know about, that I'm not aware. And again, there are other people on this platform who are sharing political content, and they are not juicing it up so that you can have your popcorn moment of, look at what Donald Trump did today. Everything that's happening is very, very serious. And we need to stay attentive to what is happening in our world today. There are people who will still not take this seriously. They don't understand the value of voting. They are still looking at Republican versus Democrat. Donald Trump infiltrated the GOP party. He knew exactly what he was doing at that time and who he was taking with him and how they were going to infiltrate this party. You don't like what the Democrats are doing? You are a more progressive person? Infiltrate the Democrat Party. Let's get rid of Timu Hakeem Jeffries. Okay, I shouldn't even call him Timu because he's like Timu Barack Obama. He's not Barack Obama. You don't like what he's doing? You don't like what Chuck Schumer is doing? They all need to be replaced. We understand that. But this whole back and forth thing of what's going on now is not going to solve our problems. We solve our problems by taking efficient and effective steps to get there. And we're not going to get there this year. We're not going to get there 2 years from now. But the more we stay consistent, we will. And with all that being said, this is Maribel Blue signing off. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, remember, be good to yourself, be good to each other. Most importantly, take care of you. Bye, everybody.